Have you ever wondered what drives someone to push the limits of human capability beneath the waves? What secrets lie in the abyss, and what price is paid by those who dare to explore the ocean's shadows? Audrey Mestre, a fearless free diver, ventured where few dared to tread, pushing the boundaries of human capability in the unforgiving depths of the ocean. But what happened in those last heart-stopping moments beneath the waves? Was Audrey up against an impossible challenge, or did she take a dangerous risk that ended up costing her everything? Join us as we navigate the murky waters of Audrey's final dive, exploring the eerie circumstances that shroud her last horrifying minutes. The remarkable journey of Audrey Mestre. In the heart of Paris on August 11, 1974, a remarkable journey began for Audrey Mestre, a woman whose life would become intimately intertwined with the boundless depths of the ocean. Audrey's fascination with the sea commenced at a tender age, with a golden triumph in a 25-meter swimming competition at the mere age of 2. By 13, she ventured into scuba diving, opening a door to a passion that would define her existence. However, life took an unexpected turn when, at 14, complications from typhoid fever resulted in the development of scoliosis in Audrey's back. To manage this condition, she endured wearing a restrictive plastic corset for several years. The only time she felt free from this heavy thing was when she immersed herself in water to go swimming. As Audrey grew, so did her connection with the water, evolving into a source of happiness and comfort. The ocean transformed into her playground, and a move to Mexico further fueled her passion. Settling in La Paz, Audrey pursued a degree in marine biology during her university years. It was during this time that she delved into a research paper exploring the human body's response to deep-sea freediving. In this academic pursuit, she encountered the legendary figure of Francisco Pipin Ferreras. Pipin, a sensation in the diving world, captivated Audrey with his record-breaking dives, incredible breath-holding abilities, and unwavering competitive spirit. Pipin's early life was marked by challenges, including deformed feet, asthma, and poor eyesight. Yet, these limitations seemed to vanish when submerged in water, a skill he had mastered even before learning to walk. Inspired by Pipin's story, Audrey found a mentor with a similar spirit to her passion for the ocean. Their paths converged in 1996 when Pipin scheduled a freediving expedition in the waters of Cabo San Lucas, providing Audrey with an opportunity to interview him for her research paper. As they spent more time together, remarkable parallels emerged in their lives, forging a deep connection. Love blossomed swiftly, and in 1999, Audrey and Pipin married, becoming each other's chief motivators in both their romantic journey and their pursuit of diving records. Breaking free from conventional norms, Pipin established the International Association of Freedivers in 2000, challenging the established safety standards in freediving. In the same year, Pipin attempted a daring dive to a depth of 535 feet, but faced a blackout during the ascent, rendering the record-breaking attempt invalid. Undeterred by setbacks, Pipin redirected his focus to Audrey, urging her to reach greater depths. In 2000, Audrey, despite experiencing a blackout after resurfacing, set a new world record by diving 410 feet off the coast of Fort Lauderdale. A year later, she surpassed her own achievement, plunging to an astonishing 427 feet. However, Audrey's reign at the top was short-lived. In 2002, Tanya Streeter shattered Audrey's previous record by an astounding 100 feet, reaching an unparalleled depth of 525 feet on August 17, 2002, and setting a new world record for no-limit diving. But what happens when the pursuit of a record takes an unexpected turn? Audrey's team, haunted by the shadow of a lost achievement, accelerated their plans. Little did they know that moving the dive to an earlier date would set the stage for a series of consequential events that would lead to a tragic outcome. On October 9, 2002, Audrey descended to a staggering depth of 558 feet during a practice dive. The team believed she could break the world record for no-limits freediving by reaching 561 feet in a single breath. However, the atmosphere surrounding the dive was fraught with tension. Audrey and her husband, Pipin Ferreras, were constantly at odds, with rumors circulating that Audrey planned to divorce Pipin after the dive. On the day of the record attempt, Audrey isolated herself from everyone, exhibiting an unusual reluctance to allow anyone near the dive equipment. Pipin, too, was visibly nervous, refusing anyone to check the tank for the return bag, a critical safety measure that should be double and triple checked by multiple people before any dive. Compounding the issues, the lack of deep-sea divers posed a significant challenge. several safety divers couldn't make it to the dive, leaving a noticeable gap in the support team, especially at great depths. It's essential to note that the dive was conducted under the International Association of FreeDivers, IAFD, a regulatory body established by Pippin to bypass the safety rules of the International Diving Association, IDA. Despite the evident risks involved, Pippin approved the dive, and Audrey commenced her descent with a weighted sled connected to a cable. As Audrey descended to her target depth of 561 feet, nearly equivalent to the length of 2 football fields, the dive seemed to progress smoothly. However, Pascal Burnaby, positioned at 564 feet, sensed that something was wrong as the cable behaved irregularly. At 2 minutes and 22 seconds into the dive, Audrey reached the intended depth. Here, she needed to perform 3 crucial steps to ensure a safe ascent. Grab the lift bag, open the valve, and pull the pin. Unfortunately, these steps didn't unfold as expected, intensifying the gravity of the situation. Burnaby, the deep diver, swam over to Audrey, attempting to assist her ascent by adding air to the lift bag. However, the bag didn't rise fast enough, and he couldn't accompany her to the surface. Audrey's ascent was agonizingly slow, and it became evident that she wouldn't reach the surface in time for a safe recovery. The absence of a diver at 427 feet, who could have provided essential assistance, became a critical issue. Minutes passed as Burnaby, positioned at 262 feet, had not seen Audrey on the surface. Pippin's desperate cries for scuba gear filled the air, and eventually, by the 4-minute mark, Burnaby found Audrey, who had drifted and blacked out at a depth of 394 feet. He grabbed her and began ascending rapidly, a risky move that put his own life on the line. Burnaby brought Audrey up to a depth of 295 feet, and Pippin, fully aware of the risky situation, dove down to retrieve Audrey. Upon reaching the surface, Pippin initiated CPR in the water, and when they finally got Audrey onto the boat, they urgently called for a doctor. However, the doctor who arrived was ill-equipped for the challenging conditions of deep-sea diving emergencies, being a dentist with limited ability to help. But at this point, Audrey still had a pulse. Rushed to the shore for examination, Audrey was tragically pronounced dead at the age of 28. Surprisingly, there was no official investigation into the incident in the Dominican Republic. The family's formal request is required to initiate an investigation, but neither Pippin nor Audrey's family pursued it. In the aftermath, numerous reports and theories circulated about what had transpired, with some accusing Pippin of murder. However, those who knew the couple strongly disagreed, asserting that Pippin would never purposefully harm Audrey. Interestingly, the second diver, positioned at 262 feet, believed that Pippin might have been trying to create a situation that looked like an accident, and then save Audrey to appear as a hero. Reviewing sensor data and dissecting the events of that fateful day revealed that many important things had gone wrong, resulting in a tragic outcome. The choice of a lighter cable, intended to make the dive smoother by reducing friction, actually worsened the situation. This lighter cable moved around too much due to underwater currents, repeatedly interrupting Audrey's ascent. Additionally, issues with a damaged part called a bushing, broken during a practice dive, and extra parts called wings on the sled intended to prevent turning, ended up causing more friction during the ascent. Despite these problems, the most significant issue was the lack of sufficient air to fill the dive bag and safely bring Audrey back to the surface. These findings raised questions about possible negligence on the part of Pippin and perhaps several members of the crew. Surprisingly, there was no official investigation, and no one was accused or charged for the tragic events that unfolded that day. Audrey Mestre was posthumously awarded an IAFD record based on a practice dive she completed on October 9, 2002. With that dive, she broke her husband's previous no-limits dive world record of 531.5 feet set in January 2000. In 2002, Audrey Mestre was inducted posthumously into the Women Divers Hall of Fame. Pippin's last record-setting dive was to 561 feet in 2003. He refused to go any deeper, as he only wanted to match Audrey's last and deepest dive in honor of her memory. After more than a decade, no woman has surpassed Tanya Streeter's record. Perhaps the only one who could have done it was Audrey Mestre, but she is gone and raising the haunting question. Had Audrey lived, would she have continued to brave the depths, rewriting the record books and challenging the limits of human endurance?